I'm a big fan of Mechvax.
How was your holiday?
It was great, Wardi. I had a buzzing. Yeah. I'm a big fan of doing nothing. That's absolutely what happened.
Nice.
I watched Cobra Kai season 3 in one day.
In one day?
Yeah, it's great.
I'm gonna do that soon, but I'm watching something else on it, so once I get done.
You know, I tend to analyze why I like things, you know, and usually I can get to a conclusion, but I have absolutely no clue why I like Cobra Kai.
Yeah, me neither. You know, it kind of feels like it's not aimed for like our age group in a way. It almost feels like it's like
For kids?
not quite for kids, but like a younger audience still. You know what I mean? Like high school, because it's kind of got like a high school theme, right?
Yeah, I love it though. I like the big bad guy, our man, my man Johnny. He's great. I like the kids. Like, I'm constantly screaming at the TV that they're all idiots. Like, I turned into a boomer watching this TV show. It's actually insane. And usually after a movie, like I can make a pretty decent, you know, I can assess it, you know, like pretty objectively, unless it has Benedict Cumberbatch, but that's a different story. But unless Benedict Cumberbatch in there, then like I can say, all right, I like this, you know, the shots were sick, I like that, and the acting was good. But with this, I have absolutely no clue why I think this is great. Like, I think the story is, like, I'm not even sure if that quite describes. It's not a good story, but every single time at the end of the episode, it's like, I'm really curious what's gonna happen next. There we go again, episode number 5 in a row.
The problem
it's crazy, man.
The problem is it's such short episodes, right? So it's like really
it's 36 minutes, dude. It's pretty long. 30?
36?
30, 35? Oh, I watched the credits as well.
No, it was like 25, 30 for like season 1 and 2.
Yeah, 30. I mean 30, yeah, but it's not short.
Yeah, but I mean it's shorter than like a lot of TV stuff I watch, so.
Okay, the only TV shows I watched are The Mentalist, Psych, Cobra Kai, and The Penguins from Madagascar. So if you take the average of these TV shows, it's a pretty normal length, pretty decent duration.
What is this combination of you?
The Penguins from Madagascar is insanely good, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, they're very, very funny. The penguins, they're by far the best part in the Madagascar movies. Maybe the monkeys in the second movie are relatively funny as well, and I guess King Julian always has an honorary role, but I mean they're so good, they're so funny, their voices are brilliant, and I love it. But let's talk about the game. We have triple Reaper Hellion, double Hellion coming out of Clem. Really safe build. Cure bops into the main base with 2 of his Reapers, and it's like, alright, time to go. He's gonna sacrifice these for what looks to be 3 SCV kills. Might get a 4th one? No, won't. 3 SCV kills, 2 Reapers, and now we're gonna have a pretty scary push here coming out of Clem. Now, that gas is not gonna be able to be finished, right? There's no way. I mean, he will be able to finish it, but he can't mine from it.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll be able. Yeah, I mean, this is the problem with what Q is doing, right? He goes straight into just one Cyclone. He kind of skipped Hellions altogether, and Cyclone just has to fall back. Like, he does good damage initially. Clem's gonna dive up. He's actually gonna get himself the Cyclone kill. Oh no. 1 HP.
If he gets that, this completely changes the game, right?
Yep.
Because then this low ground is never going to be taken. Oh my god, I think Clem thought he had it already.
Yeah, no, I think so too. 1 HP. He was just convinced he had it. He was, you know, moving back down. And then you get like 2 or 3 SCVs or so, and yeah, it's a very different game, like you say. Because Kyo was greedy, right, to go straight into the Cyclone, and now he kind of gets away with that greed. Wow.
Yeah, that's absolutely crazy. Wow, I feel bad for Clem there. I mean, he only lost 1 unit, and he did kill the 2 Reapers earlier on, so he's probably, yeah, it's still pretty even in units lost at least. He did lose some SCVs, but because the natural wasn't building any SCVs for Cure, I think it kind of evens up in the end. We see some potential here for damage coming out of Clem with that medevac, with that tank actually. I mean, Clem's build are super aggressive. It's really fun to watch. He's gonna be able to. Oh.
Okay. I mean, there's nice damage still on the medevac because now it's going to be harder for it to stick around and provide high ground vision. So might be easier to clean up as we're going to have our Raven hanging around.
Yeah, it's flew a little too close to the sun there, Clem. Could have just popped up a bit more to the top, probably would have been fine. Reaper's gonna go in for a scout, does not manage to save himself. Still 1 Reaper remains. We now have a Raven on the way for Clem as well. So curious to see. I think he'll still go into double Raven at this point, right? You kind of have to.
Yep. Raven, Raven, Raven. All sides of the map, and just going to be seeing Cure. Even going to send his Raven out aggressively, right? Just coming down to the bottom side. So, going to harass a little bit with it because he probably doesn't feel like he's under too much pressure anymore after clearing this up, pushing this back. So yeah, why not put some damage on the map already?
Yeah, don't mind it completely. Clem a little slow with the Cyclone going into the main base. Will still be in time though. Does he throw down a turret? I thought he might want to throw down a turret just to get that depot and the SCV, but decides not to. And now this Raven will just need to go home, right? There's just nothing for this Raven to be done over here. What happened on the other side? Did he just throw a grenade in the natural and jump out?
Yeah, just a Reaper. Just moving into the natural scene units, getting out of there. He's going to push again. So he's going to start moving across, and he's going to try and drop on the left and push on the top. So I'm interested. There's a Cyclone on this left-hand side. I mean, Cure's vision is pretty good to kind of keep an eye on what's happening, so I don't think he should really be caught off guard anywhere.
Hard agree. This is a cool setup though by Clem. I think he was just trying to fake it, right? So just trying to show like, hey, I have my tanks and stuff here. There's probably Marines with it, and then he wants to do the drop into the natural just to get a couple of workers. He doesn't really want to get too much done, but now it's getting scanned, and Cure sees no Marines here. This should alert him to the possibility that something might be happening soon in his natural, or perhaps Cure wants to jump on top of this.
Yeah, Cure's moving forward. Now it just means he's just completely out of position. So Marines in the natural will unload, and he's going to actually pull the SCVs in to fight this. And now he's in the middle of the map, and Clem's in position on the main base. He's going to be able to deny Stim from that low ground. So Clem's position is fantastic. Already killing 14 SCVs, and here we go. Auto turrets come down, Minitrixes as well. So maybe Cure can clean this out. He absolutely needs to. Otherwise, again, that high ground position of Stim is going to be in a lot of trouble. And he will finally start working his way through those tanks. It's still kind of expensive, right? 14 SCVs. And the big thing is that Clem loses a lot of tanks and Cure doesn't really lose any.
Yeah, but where's the Ravens for Cure? Cure is completely all in at this point. Like, no Ravens. Yes, he does have the tank lead. Yes, air superiority as well at this point. Does he actually? 3 Vikings against 3 and 2 Ravens there. So I guess not really. If Clem manages to take out one more Viking, that would be super, super big, because then his tanks are going to be very, very useful, and the tanks for Cure are just going to be kind of like sitting ducks. I mean, it's nice that you can get a position, but that's going to be it. Cure actually moving forward. Clem missed targeting there. I think he could have gotten that top tank at least. Now he's not going to get anything. He will need to lift his base. Clem also lost the Viking battle during this, by the way. One Viking is going to go down now for Cure. I think he just should lift it. I don't understand why he's not lifting it. He's taking so much damage. He's losing so much money on repairing here.
Yeah, I mean, he's just sat there taking damage for no reason. Now he lifts up as it's about to go down. Pulls SCVs into this, and he will get the cleanup, and he doesn't actually lose enough SCVs for Cure to take a worker lead. So Clem does get the defense that he's looking for in the end. Just took maybe a little while longer than expected initially.
Yeah, but with the unit lead, and here we go. Whenever Clem is ahead, he just goes across the map and starts doing things. That seems to be his thing in most matchup. When he's behind, he doesn't mind sitting back every now and then. He'll try to get like different types of advantages. But when he's ahead, he just keeps pushing his advantage further and further. I think he already finished his first armory just now. Just created a second. No, he just cancelled one of his armories, the one that was almost done. Yikes, Clem. Gets a good position though with these tanks. No scan forward, so actually won't be able to shoot this with these tanks. Oh, these tanks were in range. Oh, that's annoying.
Yeah, this is... I mean, the thing is, these sort of things are still okay for Clem, right? Because he's forcing SCVs forward, he's getting a few SCV kills, and he's still trading okay. He loses a bit of his army supply advantage, I guess, but he's also... I mean, he maybe could have done more on this right side. If he kept moving with this army, he would have been on top of this mineral line before there was any units here, so... Maybe a bit of a missed opportunity, but he's actually also missing combat shields right now. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. It's weird. It's not like he was missing scans because he just dropped 2 mules. I was thinking, why didn't he scan forward? Because very often with these double tank drops or even single tank drops with like 2 medevacs, you almost always see that scan forward, right? You want to know what's going on, but not the case here. As we see 2-2 starting up for Clem. Second factory on the way for him as well. We have Cure actually moving out on the map now with 2 medevacs. Feels like he can maybe try and take some type of map control, or at least keep something of a threat on the map. It's also important, right? The counter-attack possibility. Clem's actually gonna miss that with his Marine. No, managed to spot it. That's good. That's very, very big, because he didn't have too much vision on that top side of the map. He's rallying Marines into his natural. Fourth base for Clem is a lot faster here than it is for Cure. Clem's in a nice position here, Wardi. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, he's just kept the lead from earlier, right? And obviously, TvT is a little bit wonky when it comes to trying to end games, so we'll not be able to go forward and maybe end it just yet, but he can definitely keep taking position on the map, right? And on a small map like this, if you're on the map and you kind of hold the position, then what can Cure really do about it? Like, it's going to be difficult to work his way around Clem's army, and Clem can kind of just keep Cure pinned back for a long time now while he takes his own 4th base. There's very good vision. They're going to run into a bit of a fight over here, and he doesn't quite have the Marine count, Clem, so he has to lift up and boost away. He has the tanks, but obviously not sieged. They don't really add much to this moment.
They don't add much to this moment, indeed. Well, the Stim forward's going to try to get this planetary. It's not going to work out. There's 4 tanks siege up, and Cure counts his blessings as he managed to run away without getting shelled. 3 Marines walking across the map. He did this earlier as well. I'm not sure if it's a misrally or if he actually likes doing this in case of just making sure that he can spot a 4th base. You know, if there's a single Marine there from Cure, then he will win that fight rather convincingly.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like there's no worse feeling than sending 1 Marine. It gets all the way across just to die before it gets the information you need, because he has 1 Marine as well, right? So I feel like Marines are like cheap enough. Like maybe 2 Marines would have been fine, but then what if he's playing with 2 Marines as well, you know? So
yeah, you keep going higher and higher
until your entire army is the scout.
Yeah, the casual 55 Marine 3 tank scout. The other guy is there with 56 Marines and 3 tanks. Dang it, he got me again.
Marines are gonna get cleaned up now, but he gets the information he wants, right? He gets the timing of that 4th base land, and he knows it's there, and he knows that this is where Cure is going to be stretched out a little bit more, so opportunity to start dealing more damage. You can drop in the back of this base, and obviously this is scary because then you have the choice to go up into the main as well. And we'll actually do both, and those Marines on the low ground are again quite a few SCVs to start. Tanks and Marines get to the main pretty quickly though, and Clem will get shot down here. No escape with the Vikings there, so that wasn't actually that pretty, and that's a lot of army supply he loses out on. About, what, 30 army supply for very little gain, and now Cure has a lot of stuff on the ground.
Yeah, he really does. I feel like Cure got out-positioned there, but then Clem didn't have any tanks. I think if you have like 2 tanks in that army, it's already very, very different, right? Because the SimCity makes it so hard for Cure's Marines to move through. Now, if we take a look at the armies, already at the supply, you can see obviously that Cure has more supply, but also worker-wise, Clem is up 11 workers, which means his army is 10 supply smaller than even the supply indicates. So we got to keep that in mind as well here, that Cure, he isn't necessarily all in, but he does have a bigger army here, and that can be quite dangerous.
As tanks get sieged, he's just gonna play a little bit defensively for a few moments. Obviously, he's gonna have to be very cautious with any fight he ends up taking right now, as he is taking the 5th base as well, by the way. So he's getting the top right up, and so as long as he doesn't let Cure get into a position anywhere, he's kind of fine, because he's going to start mining more and more than Cure. He's going to get a bigger bank, and then he can obviously trade out, rebuild more easily, and go again. But you don't get that chance if Cure just gets on top of your base and starts shutting them down. So you got to keep this position. You can see the few Marines moving forward to keep track of where this army is at, and it's just a dance between the 2 of them. Neither of them will want to commit in, and Cure just sending a few Marines, sorry, top right, and he's going to find a tank planetary, and he's going to realize that obviously that base is now taken. So maybe he feels under a bit of pressure then to get something done.
Yeah. Liberator starting right now for Clem. We have 3 starports for Clem, Fusion Core on the way as well. So looking to get that air dominance, double siege up. And we see the air superiority for Clem here is actually going to give him the edge in these engagements every single time. Wow. I didn't know that one was in range as well. I felt like that tank wasn't shooting at all. That's crazy. 11 tanks against 9. 11 tanks for Clem actually, and Cure is losing.
Yeah.
One extra tank there, 2 extra tanks. There's so many Vikings. Holy crap. There's not
Clem.
that many Marines though for Clem. He's just all out on like tech units. He took the bottom base. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah,
And then
me
he built
neither.
a sensor tower.
Yeah. I mean, Cure's sees it, but he doesn't have the chance to go deal with it. So with the Viking count, he can really just with the Liberators obviously hold off siege positions. That's what he's really been missing, because he's actually had the Viking count for a long time. Marines going to come in forward here, and they will get the Libs. The tanks are just a little too far away. Obviously, typically the tanks are meant to support those Liberators. The Marines can't get underneath for free. That's not what happened there, so a little bit unfortunate for Clem maybe, but now he's actually pushing units up on the top side of the map while he's holding with very low unit count, and Cure doesn't see this until just now. This is the first time he walks into sensor tower range, so I'm going to get to the top side. The 5th base is obviously going to be exposed to the top right, and he's going to get a really good tank siege up, and the Marines are just walking through, and that's going to be a lot of dead bodies.
A lot of dead bodies indeed. Also, do note that there's almost no medevacs. Actually, there is no medevacs on the map right now here for Clem, which means every single stim these Marines do is going to hurt them a crap ton. 14 tanks, 27 Marines and 18 Vikings, as well as Liberators on the way here, and 2 already out. Now this Viking war obviously is going to go well for Clem. I don't understand why Cure is trying to engage into this once again. He's going to need to unsiege a couple of his tanks. I like this counter attack because really what does Clem have at home? It's only 3 tanks and a single Liberator. I understand it's too scary to move in for Cure. It looks relatively scary to move in at least. But if he would go, he would just be able to blast this completely, no?
Yeah, or rotate and go from a different direction, right? I mean, the right side base only has a couple tanks on the way. He's kind of very indecisive, and he's taking a lot of free shots, so I mean, he's going to start moving through now, but obviously this is going to start being like a base-for-base trade-out, so really okay for Clem. He can handle this. He's got more command centers to kind of send around the map and go elsewhere too, so he's got time to work with for sure.
Yeah, and he still has a tank up on that top base, and that's going to be super useful because it's next to a planetary, right? So the Marines can just bust straight in. I think his natural is relatively safe, and if that top base is safe as well, then we're looking at a potential 4 base versus 4 base situation, right? I think that 5th base on the right side for Cure is going to fall at some point.
Yep.
He can't break the natural. I love the Liberators, by the way. If these Liberators go to siege up at this 4th base for Clem, yeah, this is brilliant. Because now the tanks can't move forward, which means you're gonna need to give up a lot of Marines if you want to run in there, and that's exactly what's gonna happen. It's gonna give up a lot of Marines, but now this tank is gonna get 1 more shot.
Yeah, I mean, the plans are in a bit of trouble, but Clem's also traded out really well across the map. He's cleaned out everything of Cure, so all of Cure's defenses are gone. It's unfortunate Clem's just ran out of Marines offensively, because otherwise there's actually nothing to hold him off, and as Clem runs in to clean up on this right side, he obviously has bases just to replace anyway. And Cure's going to type out, so Clem's going to take the first game of this this best of 5.
5, top left, spawning as the red Terran player, hailing all the way from South Korea. It is Cure.
Up against Blue Terran in the bottom right from France. It's Team Liquid's Clem.
Team Liquid's Clem. What a guy.
Why is there no Team Liquid Harstem in this tournament? What happened here?
I never played the OSC stuff. I can't be bothered to play NA stuff. Is there OSC Europe things?
Probably.
Yeah, I don't play too many online cups anyway.
Yeah, I know you don't. I know you don't.
I don't like
Do you
it
know
too
you
much.
you actually played 10 OSC tournaments this year?
Really?
Yeah. You won
Did
700.
you just Google that?
It's on the OSC website. You won $715 in OSC events.
Really?
Yeah. You probably don't realize that OSC events because they're partnered with people.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
OSC is crazy. There's like, they're the Bill Gates of online tournaments. You don't really know the things Bill Gates can do, but you start googling stuff online, man, it's crazy what this guy has been up to lately. OSC is similar.
Yeah.
Like they have so much influence. It's yeah. I love it. It's great. It's so funny as well that they've been around for so long now.
Yeah.
You know, that you kind of expect the things to happen. But if they ever would leave, we'd be like, holy crap. Like, that's like every single tournament.
Yeah.
Like, basically a week. It's insane.
Yeah, there's like so many things. Like all these random tournaments that you're like, what the hell is that? Probably OSC partners, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, OSC is beautiful. It's great. And I like that it's like a pretty clear system as well, you know, with the points. And it's all leading up to a beautiful grand final, Wardi.
Yeah, all week long. With such a last day of winner bracket. And then tomorrow we get challenger bracket, which is the last chance for a couple of people to qualify into the lower bracket of the championship bracket. And then we have the lower bracket run.
Yeah, it's cool.
Epic.
Pretty epic indeed.
Both players going to open a little bit, pretty much the same, right, as the last game too, double gas. So we'll see Cure already making a difference with the Hellion instead of a Cyclone. So that's obviously the biggest thing to note right now, because I think that was pretty substantial last time that he just skipped Hellions completely.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We have 2 Reapers coming out of Clem only. Then going into Reactor, and we will have the 3 Reaper. I guess it's going to be 3 Reaper, 2 Hellion. No, it's going to be 3 Reaper, 1 Hellion, 1 Mine, and then he's going to try to control the ramp. So this is kind of supposed to be a counter to people that play things like 3 Hellion, 3 Reaper, right? Because then you have the Mine on top of the ramp, and bam, it shoots on them, and you're going to have a good fight. But I think against what Clem is doing, this isn't that useful. Clem's also going to get a Mine for himself to get that the defending advantage. Going to get a medevac again. It's really cool to see that Clem always tries to be aggressive in basically every single matchup, right? That's kind of his trademark. He wants to be fighting. He wants to be controlling units against someone else. And yeah, with a medevac, it's a great way to do that. Well, a lot of the time we see Terrans open up Raven, just straight Raven, like Raven. Ooh, Banshee coming out of Cure. I like that. Because Clem does tend to delay the Banshee, or the Raven, so his detection is just a little bit late. Also, usually means his Vikings are delayed, right? So, yeah, I'm not upset by this at all.
I think it's even nice if he doesn't go Cloak, right? Just a single Banshee can actually do a lot aggressively. And even defensively, if you feel like you're in trouble, like against a tank push or so, like the Banshee can make a big difference. Like the damage output it provides is really substantial.
Yeah, it kills Marines for fun, basically. Like it's their job. But they also have a good time doing it. You can feel it. Like these guys do it so fast, they can scoot away. You remember when there was this challenge where you could do the 2 Banshees against like 16 Marines or something like that? Oh, did you see that pickup?
Yeah. That's pretty nice as Clem's going to get out of there. 2 SCVs killed, a few bit of micro. He's going to lose a Hellion on the front, but he's going to get the Widow Mine with the Cyclone, so I feel like that was almost intentional, the way that he moved there.
You know what the thing is with Clem? Is that his moves, like I don't want to undersell him, like his moves aren't necessarily super spectacular a lot of the time, but every little trick that is possible to be done, he does it and he executes it well every single time. You know, like he does the pickups well. His control is almost always I don't want to say perfect, but very, very close to perfect, right? He doesn't just rally units into wrong positions. He doesn't make any real major errors with his unit control. It's just so... I love watching him. It's really, really cool seeing him play. Clem with the high ground CC. And it's going to be going into 2 extra barracks. I'm curious to see what Cure here is going to do. We don't see we see a Fort gas coming down right now.
Yeah.
No barracks yet either. Could it be, Wardi?
Could it be some Mac? Yeah, Romanticide's like a Macable map, right? I'm very hesitant to call Mech in TvT because I always feel like I call Mech and then the next one he's like, just kidding, my barracks are just late, you know? So...
Oh, yeah. There we go.
Yep, there we go. It's just going to be bio. It's going to see Vikings, Stim, and that's why you need 4 gas because it is kind of very gas intensive if you're going to reactor out Vikings and then build tanks and then start Stim as well, so...
And 2-2, sorry, 1-1, like at some point as well. So it's like, yeah, you're going to need a lot of gas. I still feel like he took his gas a bit too early. I mean, floating 400 gas, that's pushing it a little bit, I think. I think it's third too fast, or third gas. But yeah, you do need a lot of gas for the composition you're going to be looking for in TvT. We have double Raven out here for both players. And a little bit of a passive moment here in the game. See Clem trying to establish some type of map vision with these Cyclones, trying to get a little bit of map control as well. And just trying to be aware of like, hey, where's my opponent's army? Is he trying to be aggressive, or is it my turn to be on the map? And you know, if Clem can be on the map, he's gonna be on the map.
Yep, He loves being aggressive. I feel like this was at one point his weakness of TvT, that he was never able to kind of stop being aggressive, and that sometimes was his downfall. But instead of like fixing that, it almost is like he kind of like carved TvT to kind of work for him anyways, like just with his style. Yeah, because his TvT definitely improved over the last few months. It was definitely his lacking matchup at the start of 2020, and then he really brought it back a lot. So yeah, kind of cool to see him kind of playing his own thing and just always being that guy that's on the map, aggressive, waiting to pounce.
Yeah. It's nice watching him play in general. Cure, of course, also quite a cool player, but tends to be a bit more defensive, right? He's more of a standard guy, I feel like the proper player. A perfect guy to copy, by the way, Cure. If you want to play proper Starcraft 2, and you're a Terran player, you don't want to switch to TOTS, then Cure is okay.
He's okay, yeah.
Alright. Okay to wear.
Rivers and Helly are gonna clean out Marines up on this top side. We just have and Clem looking for information. Both of them have the sense tower in the same place as we set up on, well, basically 3 bases each, and at this rate going towards 4 bases as well. Clem is just 4th command center, much further along than Q is. Overall, I kind of just feel like Clem's build's a little bit more streamlined than Q is overall, right? Like he's, you know, about to get combat shield much faster. He had 1-1 much faster. Unfortunately, he has not started his 2-2, so he maybe doesn't maintain that lead as much as it could have been, but just the little things definitely seem to be Clem favored for now.
Yeah. Really does seem to be the case, as he spots the drop coming for him on the left side. Clem's map vision is pretty good, especially if you compare it to what Cure has. I guess Cure is not really planning on being aggressive, so then your map vision isn't as important on a map like Romanticide. He's gonna be able to pick off this mine though, and it's funny, Clem spotted it, but actually wasn't that in position. Like he had some units, but not that many. He's gonna end up losing the sensor tower, which is annoying. Quick scan does reveal that these guys are gonna go into the main base, or at least attempt to go into the main base. 5 Marines should be able to deny that.
Yeah.
If you're not paying attention to his medevac, what's...
Ooh.
Yikes.
Yeah, that was just, that's one of those things that you just never expect to happen, right? Even if you come under fire initially, you usually kind of go and pull back right away, but yeah, loses the medevac. At least it wasn't the full one, so a slight kind of positive from that is now the Clem just going to fly his Ravens into this arm. He's going to drop double Matrix to start off this fight. All the turrets in return though from Cure, and he gets Matrixes off, so he just gets way better value off the Ravens. And Cure turns around what was an army supply advantage for Clem into an advantage of his own here. Clem's going to have 1 tank left in the center, but he now has basically no other tanks, and so the tank count from Cure is going to be very difficult to handle now.
And he still has 4 tanks. I guess they're just at home, right? The thing that worries me more, Wardi, is that you mentioned it before, but Clem actually forgot his 2-2. He thinks he started it. So he's gonna figure it out about the time when it's supposed to finish, and he's about to start 3-3. Yeah, right now he's like, oh crap, I don't have 2-2. Like, this is gonna open up a massive opportunity for Cure, especially after that last fight, right? We're looking at Cure up in tanks, air superiority, and then also going to be up 2 upgrades. Like, these are all 3 of those things individually would be big already, but add them all together, and we're looking at someone who's maybe capable of even finishing the game here.
Pushing around the south side, and the Vikings here, those medevacs are in some trouble. Here now using them to fight. He's going to be in range of the sensor tower again, so that will go down once more. That just makes it difficult to keep track of where everything is moving to, if anything is loading up and trying to make the play into the main, etc. So Here just taking information away, and wants to try and keep moving forward over here. He will be able to siege up for the refinery in a moment or two. The tanks don't really cover that, so gas probably going to go down, and just little things being chipped away as Clem just going to say, cool, going to leave some tanks defensively, but going to go across the map with everything else and try and see if I can trade out, as he was just going to drop on top of these tanks. So he recognizes the opportunity to clean this out, and that Clem didn't leave a lot defensively.
Yeah, he really didn't. And all the reinforcements are going to be way weaker than those 2-2 Marines that Cure has right now. There's no tank at the fort base here for Cure, but Planetary will be able to hold for a bit. Repair, only single tank here as well. And as Cure rallies in his reinforcements, I'm starting to worry for Clem. And Clem starting to really work for himself. He taps out as Cure ties up the series. TvT, alright, in the top left spawning as the blue Terran player is going to be Cure. And in the bottom
top right?
Top left, top left,
Okay, okay.
top left.
You caught
And
me
in
off
the,
guard.
in the bottom right, I still red Terran. It's going to be Liquid Clem. You know, I know that both of us started at the same location, and I know Wardi's had a long day already. So what's a better time than right now to test him, to see if his reflexes are still sharp. Apparently not as sharp as I'd like them to be. This is double Rex Reaper. Clem's going to spot it. Clem's also want to do something. Oh my god, he just spotted this SCV. What does Cure do at this point? Do you still build the second Rex?
Apparently so, but Clem is actually going to realize, he's like, why is our SCV coming down this direction? And, oh my god, he just sees it. Okay. There's a world where maybe, I mean, if you don't see the SCV in your base, though, then you're still like, what are you doing? But, yeah, now you find it. I mean, I think the barracks still get to finish, right? A little bit of RNG maybe on the SCVs required. That first SCV's taking a lot of hits.
I think the second one, there's no way, right? He's even sending a second SCV here. Yeah, this is... I'm even getting kind of scary for that. Nah, okay, the first Rex definitely is gonna go up. Never mind. But yeah, the second Rex, how? That's just a straight up cancel. Do you just follow this up with like a very fast factory, I guess, as well?
Just factory expand, I think. He's actually gonna go back on the racks, man. He's gonna keep building it.
I guess you have to, eh? Like you need some value coming out of this. I guess you can't just abandon the plan and then play from way too far behind. Clem already up 2 workers, of course. This cost Cure quite a bit. And now we're gonna be seeing what Clem decides to do. So factory gets thrown down in the main base. 2 in gas.
Now Cure cancels the racks, by the way, and he'll build a factory at home himself.
Oh! Marauders.
Marauders?
Marauders in the main, yeah. He's flying into the main. It's gonna build Marauders.
Oh. I just thought this Rax was going to scout. I was so confused.
It's Marauders.
That is smart.
Is that smart?
Yeah, I mean it's not what you expect as Clem, right? So he's just completely caught off guard. You should check where the barracks is.
Okay, just because something is a surprise doesn't mean it's good. If Cure right now would pull the plug on his internet, that also would be very surprising for Clem, but I'm not sure if that's something that I would recommend.
That doesn't win him the game. Okay, Clem's
yeah, I don't think the proxy Marauder's gonna win him the game
either.
either.
It could have done. I mean...
Really? There's 3 Reapers though. He's gonna need to save up like 4 Marauders or something like that.
I mean, if it wasn't scouted, I believe. I mean, he's just in a bad position. I like it, doing something crazy to try and just mix it up and to get back in the game. I think it's good.
Lose a Reaper actually, yeah, a little bit sloppy there by Clem. Concussive Shell is going to finish up. Yes, I'm not sure what Clem is doing. Oh, he got supply block. You have to throw a supply drop. He's not using the other units. This is doing way too much. Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good grenade though.
Good grenades. The Hellion and the Reaper going to show up now to clean up, like... Obviously just took a little while to get the other units there. I don't know why the Hellion wasn't there initially. It's going to go Tech Lab on the starport. I like that because obviously they're building Marauders and your Tech at home is probably delayed a bit, so likelihood of a Raven is kind of low, so maybe Clem can go Banshee here. That or he just goes Raven of his own, and that's obviously good as well, so... Couple of options for Clem is... I think it might be time to stop building the Marauders, man. Oh, hello.
They do this every single day. Deliver packages from the entire street because this guy knows I'm always at home. It's insane.
Yeah. I have this issue as well. I turned my doorbell off.
I'm gonna figure out what to do. Yeah, leave me alone, mate. I'm not coming.
You need to put up a sign that says like I'm working. Fuck off.
I'm working too. Leave me alone.
Oh, Cyclone is actually Cyclone got a few kills on the low ground, so Clem lost a few SCVs in the end, which kind of evens things up. And Cure's going to finish up his command center in a couple moments as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a big tech lead right here for Clem. He's just up a Raven, like a full Raven, and the starport isn't even ready to get the first Raven out here for Cure. So Clem's going to be up like 1.5 starport unit. He has, I think he can just push at some point, no? I feel like the moment he has a tank and he moves across the map, what is there really that Cure can do? I'm having a hard time imagining what Cure is going to do in that case. He doesn't have any Marines. He's going to have only factory units, but with double interference matrix, that should be it for the tanks. But like, wait, he's riding the tank across the map? Oh, 2 Cyclones doing some good damage though, hey?
Cyclones showing up, I mean, a little bit annoying. You got to be careful with the Cyclones, right? They fall apart very quickly, but for now, bit of pressure. Here comes Clem, and he is going to start moving out with the tank, so... The problem is, I mean, I don't get this tank of Cure. He's going to try and bait into the tank, but he's actually going to get the Hellion to take the first shot, and he loses the Cyclone, so... I mean, Clem is kind of fine, but maybe he sees that tank and he gets a bit afraid, so he'll back off and maybe go buy some time.
He doesn't know if this is 1 base still. So maybe he thinks he's playing against a 1 base Cure or something like that. I actually think that's just what happened. Cure managed to trick him into believing it's a 1 base. Oh my god.
I mean, why would the tank be there otherwise?
Yeah, because that tank really made no sense. But it kind of made sense because he had to go for a while. I like that tank more than I like the Proxy Marauder. That's all I'm gonna say, Wardi.
This Cure made it up to you then.
Yeah. Well, yeah, yes. I like him. Cure's cool. Okay, what do we have here?
Yeah, the CC moving out. That's obviously ahead of Cure's as well by just a little bit. I mean, Clem's advantage is just going to remain in that army supply, right? And he's going to use it to... I mean, he's 3 Ravens versus 2. He's going to start building Vikings as well, so he's going to have the air control in a huge way. And so Clem really does just have a lot of advantages on that.
Yeah, his eco really isn't that far ahead though, right? Like it's been pretty close all the way throughout this game. So the lead that he has right now is the lead we're expecting that he will keep, unless he managed to get a deny on the 3rd base, which honestly wouldn't surprise me with the army that he does have. We see 4 tanks versus 4 tanks, 3 Ravens against 2. Don't forget these Ravens of Clem, they have so much energy right now. They're gonna have double interference matrix now, at least one of them has. Second one is about to as well, so it's gonna be 4 interference matrices and still be capable of throwing down 2 turrets as well.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the first tank?
Yep, I mean, that's obviously a good start. Now the orbital command just moved into position and it's gonna take a lot of damage. Obviously shouldn't die or anything, but just hurting. SCVs will have to pull off to repair that, and that's obviously just a cost you don't really want to spend, as now we see a lot of auto turrets going down. He's going to deny Stim with the auto turrets, so Stim goes down and just going to keep on covering. I said this orbital wasn't going to die. Never mind, it is. And, well, Cure can pick his moment of GG at this point. I mean, he just lost Stim, he just lost his 3rd base. He's got faster engineering base and upgrades. It's like the only good thing for him at the moment.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if that's gonna... Is that gonna make up for Stim, you know? If you're lacking Stim, then there's no DPS on the Marines, Wardi. No DPS on the Marines, how are you gonna break these tank lines?
I mean, you're really not, quite frankly. So, yeah, Cure's gonna try and stay alive, rebuilding a 3rd aim position on the left-hand side, but, I mean, the Ravens are just winning this game, auto-turreting down tank after tank. We do have pretty high energy Ravens of Cure, so maybe you can make a break out of this position, but... he's gonna start going across the map to counterattack, but I just don't see what you do enough to get back in the game. Because even if you get a good army fight, you're still down workers. Even if you kill workers, then you got to get rid of an army. And again, Stim is a huge issue that we've mentioned a couple times now. He's gonna come in for the flank and try to fight. There's multiple turrets going down. The Matrix has hit every single tank here, and that is gonna be the cleanup. But even then, Clem still has the army supply lead overall.
Yeah, and he managed to keep his Ravens alive, so really this wasn't that great. Cure lost 2 of his Ravens. I mean, eventually that army is going to get cleaned up, right? That's just part of the game. Unless Clem makes some miraculous escape, but he kept his Ravens alive, killed 2 Ravens of his opponent, and look at the air superiority that he currently has. Uh-oh, Clem? Hello?
Yeah, I mean, he's out of position.
It's okay though, because he has Stim. Like the speed at which he's going to be able to kill things on the other side of the map is so much higher than what Cure is going to be capable of. Like this base is gonna be down and Cure is still going to be dreaming of ever reaching that natural.
Why did Cure just never restart Stim as well? Like,
it's gonna go into mech, I guess. Or what? No.
Well, with 5 racks? Like 6 racks? Like
I saw the armory, I got a little bit excited already. This is the saddest float in the natural of Clem. He's like, these Marines are so bad, they can't even kill that orbital command. There's like 20 of them with 1-1. Yeah, come on, man. Now the Marines of Clem, they snipe 2 tanks. There's a tank on the high ground, and these pathetic looking boys trying to move up with no combat shield, no Stim. I mean, this is just going to be it. As Clem breaches the front, and he's going to be able to hold at home. Cure has nothing else to do except review, and that's exactly what he does. As Clem puts himself on match point.
ESL Open Cup?
Yeah, maybe. We'll see about it.
Well, okay. Maybe see you there as we go into Pillars of Gold. Top right side, the red Terran from Team Liquid is Clem.
And in the bottom left, a man who needs to win the game right now to keep his hopes and dreams alive, it is Cure.
I get the feeling he's not going to proxy Rux again.
I don't think he will, Wardi. That was a very sad episode. Actually, he didn't do too poor, you know? Like he almost made a game out of it. He was close to almost being close to making a comeback, you know? There is a world in which you could imagine that was close. But in our world, that wasn't the case.
I mean,
I'm absolutely blessed.
From our point of view, it was like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, the thing is that his Ravens just have so much energy, right? The Ravens are really, really insane in the early game in TvT. Because you're just going to be able to, like, deny every factory unit for like half a minute, basically, if you have, like, 6 interference matrices. And then if you kill 2-3 tanks, you get in a position there on the bottom of the ramp. Yeah, these positions in TvT are absolutely killing because all your add-ons are gonna get destroyed. Like, what are you gonna do? Fly back all your barracks and factories, build them somewhere else? Yeah, it really, really sucks.
Well, these two are gonna finally go for slightly different openers, right? I mean, obviously last game a little bit of a different one, but the single gas expand from Clem, it's been very double gas heavy so far, so a little bit of a switch up there.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna go into Marine behind this. Looking solid, looking tight. Looking real nice here. It's
Real
cool
nice.
to see the one Rex expand come back, you know? I like watching one aggressive guy and one defensive guy. Cure just straight up sends his Marine across the map. He didn't scout, right? No, he didn't scout. Or it sends a Reaper or something. Yeah. Didn't scout. Sees. Factory timing. Should figure out, hey, this factory is 30 seconds later than mine. I bet he has something going on.
Yeah, if he doesn't figure that one out, I'm not sure how Kira got here in the first place. Even I can figure that one out if my Reaper hops up. Yeah. Unless
my Hellion is done and his factory still isn't. I think I'm in the lead.
Maybe if you're in my league, it's like, maybe he's got his factory and doesn't expand. Perhaps.
Yeah. Perhaps. Wow, you just never get a reactor in this case. I didn't know that. I thought you'd still get a reactor, but I guess you just keep building Marines because you're too afraid of dying as the one Rex expander. It's going to be getting a starport as well as a reactor right now. Has the bunker in the front, and this is, I think, a successful defense here for Clem. 25 workers against 24. It's not going to be the biggest of deals. Going to pull ahead maybe 2 workers, I guess, because the orbital command still needs to be built here for Cure as well. Starport is going to probably swap with the factory, right? Or do you think he gets a Viking first? No, okay, it's going to go straight going to Raven. Wow. Raven, tech lab on the factory, and then just get a Cyclone, or maybe straight into tank. It's hard to say sometimes.
Yeah, he could maybe go straight into tank,
yeah. Yeah. Because you have a lot of Marines, right? That's going to be nice with this build, so the Cyclone isn't completely necessary. You do have some type of anti-air. I'm still gonna get the Cyclone, okay.
Yeah, okay. I mean, the Cyclone's still nice. I mean, Cyclone away from Cure as well, so he's thinking the same as he has a tank push coming across the map. So he's gonna look to get in position. Obviously, you drop down in this low ground here, you can siege up and cover the main barracks. So it's a nice position to work from. But of course, Clem will have the Raven to help him break out of this in just a moment. So let's see if that's gonna be enough. Yeah, I mean, everything's going to get unloaded in the main base, though, so it's going to be a lot of damage output. He's going to lose a depot to begin with, and that'll be a supply block, so Cyclone pops.
I think.
He kind of has to go now or never, right? Otherwise, he's going to lose so much. Right, 2 depots, and now the reactor as well. The reactor's just going to give him this position.
Maybe he wants to wait for the interference, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that obviously makes pretty good sense. It's only 5 energy or so away now. It's just that it's just a question of how much you want to give up, right? And in this case, he gives up the reactor and both the depots, so fighting quite nicely at the moment and staying out of range of the tank. He is going to auto turret in the end, and he's going to give good coverage on the Marines. He's actually going to get a cleanup on everything apart from the low ground tank,
I
which
think
is
the tank has to go away if he just picks it up. Oh, there's reinforcements coming.
Yeah. I mean, the Raven still has an auto turret, and that medevac is low HP, right? So that's potentially a problem. Now the starport has to move off. I mean, Q is just getting so much done with this push.
Yeah. Both me and Clem were thinking the same thing. I was like, well, this push looks over, you know, so we just leave this tank and then go back to business as usual. But Cure actually is he's hyper aggressive. Triple marine drop into the naturals, all going to be able to get 2-3 workers. A lot of low HP SCVs over there. He's going to get 5 workers, I think, if he targets well. Picks up into the low HP medevac, loses his marines instead. End of the day, this push still not cleaned up though. I was gonna make an assessment of the situation, and I realized, wait a second, my man Cure is still going. He's not too keen on giving up here.
I still feel like I mean, Clem's still doing well, keeping open worker count, etc. Let's see as the auto turrets come down either side. He actually gets a Raven kill, and Clem will keep his Ravens alive again. He's been really good at keeping Ravens alive throughout the entirety of this series.
Yeah, that's actually true. That's one of the things he's been very good at. I feel like Cure maybe overstayed his welcome a little bit, where he got too excited with the initial damage and then just kept going until it wasn't quite worth it anymore. Clem's infrastructure is a little bit delayed, right? We don't have a second Rex, we don't have a third Rex yet, and he's taking a lot of damage on the orbital command. I'm not sure. I'm not quite sure, because if these 3 tanks get cleaned up for free, that would really... Oh my god, this was the perfect timing for this Raven to come in. Yep. 2 Vikings get shot down immediately, auto turrets go down. I mean, 2 tanks do end up falling, but for the price of 2 Vikings, that is as good a trade as Cure could have hoped for. And now this tank is getting way more damage done than it should have. Good target fire there on the Marines once again. Cure is playing this fantastically.
Yep, another tank showing up as well.
That was a good fight. That was a very, very good fight. If that Raven shows up, 2-story, go ahead.
He still has 2 Ravens though, right, Clem? So, you know, I feel like that's still nice for him. You know, this one big thing that he did kill Ravens while not losing any, and he killed a lot of tanks too, and he's a couple SCVs behind, but now he takes the 3rd base, and, you know, he's got a slight army lead. I feel like it's playable for Clem. You know, just...
I agree. I think it's playable, but we shouldn't forget that right now reactors are done on the barracks for Cure already. So it should be difficult for Clem to stay on the map for too long. I think he can make a push now because he still has that, basically that lead in air, right? So he can make something happen here, but the longer it goes on, and the moment we're gonna see like 5-6 Marines being produced at a time here for Cure, that could be a real issue. I think Clem at this point maybe already is kind of regretting moving out. It's like, I'm not too sure about this anymore, Kat.
Yeah, it's definitely getting a little bit tougher. He's going to drop auto turrets down to try and hold the front. He does have the Viking advantage initially, and he gets some good shots up to help out with that, but he lost one of the Ravens. Good micro back and forth, and he's actually going to maintain a big Viking lead, 3-1. But yeah, I think it's time to just move back home and get out of there. Focus on, I mean, engineering bays, right? He's got them. He just needs to put them into use, so... just needs to keep everything moving along properly. He is still reinforcing those. I mean, almost like he's still looking for a position. The problem is now, with only 1 Raven, 1 auto turret, you don't have anything to really help you push through on the ground, and obviously you're attacking into the siege position, so typically that doesn't work well for you. And yeah, Curious, he's too smart to just let Clem kind of, you know, come forward with the air units without checking to see what he's trying to get done with them. It's a tank for tank in the end, and he may get the sense tower as well, which would be nice from Clem. So he gets that at least, and that is a costly loss from Cure. A little bit of gas he has to spend once more, but Cure is overall going to hold on. Big upgrade lead, and now Vikings just flew into Marines.
Yeah, it's 2 Vikings that go down there, which isn't the end of the world, because it looks like Cure completely ended his Viking production, right? It's just gonna go straight into medevacs. But yeah, at this point, Clem actually picked the perfect moment to go back home. I felt like he might have stayed a bit too long, but this was actually perfect. He manages to escape. I was super afraid that the moment he loses those tanks, he's just gonna get blasted by the insane Marine count that Cure will manage to garner up. But not going to be the case. 1-1 is faster here for Cure. And so maybe we have a little bit of a timing there. 4th base, Going down for both players as well as Rex 4 and 5.
Yeah, lots of build-up as you just see our extra factory come in from Cure 2. I mean, Clem's going to try and get to this 4th base. That's something which, again, he can't quite build on position, whereas Cure can, so Cure can take a little bit of an advantage there too. Yeah, Cure not starting 2-2. Okay, he just starts it now, so he will still maintain a little bit of an upgrade lead as well. And obviously that army supply and working on different starting to keep on growing, so advantage after advantage for Cure. We'll see if he can put those advantages to into use and close out this game.
Yeah, it's looking a bit bad for Clem, especially because this is not where he wants to be, right? He wants to be in control, but right now he's the one defending. He's doing a good job maneuvering his units around. There's a little bit of a push on the right side. Needs to be afraid of dropping the main base as well. Let's not forget about that. I think that's exactly what Cure is eyeing at this point. Sadly, with only 2 medevacs, I guess it would be a little bit too small. Vikings also in position, will be able to help out there. 3rd base or 4th base not quite being taken here for Clem yet. He's gonna move forward with these tanks, maybe in range. No. Oh, Raven joins. Yeah, this is gonna be double interference, right?
Yep, double interference on the tanks in the back, so he can actually just clear out the tanks in the front very quickly. And he is just gonna get there, shut those down, and he is gonna push this back rather easily. That was a very sexy cleanup from Clem. Just shuts it down with ease and
sexy.
Yeah, I know. Nice. I was thinking about using it, but it kind of was, right? Like,
yeah, sexy indeed. There was something there indeed. There was something there. I felt it as well.
Oh, the tanks are sieged up. We're going to be seeing our Marines continue to move forward. I mean, obviously fighting into tanks again, but splits are pretty good, and Clem has the numbers to push through this. There's another round of tanks going down. Medevacs escape out of there, but that's 2 rounds of army supply that Cure's just been beaten out on now, and Clem brings this back a bit. Still trailing in workers, but you trade like that a few times over, and I mean, lack of workers is kind of made up for. As Cure is going to realize now Clem's moving out, and he is going to decide what he wants to do. He's going to keep bringing the Marines. He really doesn't know. These Marines have gone backwards and forwards multiple times now. He's going to load up, and he's going to go dropping into the 3rd / the main.
Yeah, probably a couple of Marines into the 3rd and then the rest into the main, right? So you're, yeah.
Well,
I think he should have gone more into the main actually.
Yeah,
because now he's gonna force a lift, but I think he would have been able to completely shut down all production and basically force Clem into an all-in. Right now, Clem is actually he's not going to be happy with this, obviously. I mean, this is not a good situation for him, but at least he should be capable of taking out this planetary base. He has some tanks in the natural, but natural also going to be evacuated. There's a planetary on his 4th base though, so that one might be able to stay alive. He did end up losing 1 orbital already, and there's another base going down on the right side for Cure, which will ensure that he keeps the lead in bases if this ever ends. Upgrade gets taken out, +2 armor.
This is a Viking lead for Cure, so he's just going to be able to take the air control, and that's going to make things very difficult for Clem, who is trying to defend in his natural now, and he will push this Marine drop away. Clem leads on army supply, but he has basically no workers, so he needs to do something. I mean, if you can deny the 3rd orbital on this left side, it's actually pretty big, right? Because then at least the SCVs don't really have anywhere to go. You're heavily oversaturated main / natural, and so the worker advantage of Cure doesn't really mean that much. So that's definitely something to look at here, as Vikings do hunt for medevacs. One of the big issues for Clem, he lost one of his armor, well, one of his upgrades, but he actually kept the +2 attack alive, so that's something. Marines now going to find the chance to drop on top of these tanks, though, and Clem starts to get the Marines back to defend it, but not before he loses 2 siege tanks.
Yeah, it's a little bit scary there for Clem. Now, what you mentioned about those SCVs not being too useful is completely true, of course. These guys are now in a position where they're not really mining anything at all. Liberator's pushing out, though, and I think Cure will be able to secure his own low ground at this point. And once the low ground gets secured, these SCVs will be able to kind of go to safety, which is important, and then afterwards perhaps even can start thinking about mining. Ooh, actually, SCVs on the right side are going to get spotted by Clem's army. Clem moving forward with a lot of his tanks. Lose a couple of Marines to the initial shot, though. This is sloppy control. Yeah,
he really let his Marines run too far forward then. He loses a lot of them. And that's just a problem, because you can't just win this out with tanks, especially when, there's Vikings up from Cure, so you can just make another Liberator or 2. Cure is mining in the bottom right corner, by the way, so that's a base he's able to sneak up during all of this, as Clem feels like he's quite desperate trying to find openings right now, and Marines on this top side from Cure kind of looked like they should have been good enough, but Clem had a tank siege, so he scares Cure off again. He's just pushing tanks into tank fire and not really getting much out of it.
Yeah, if Clem knew about that right side base, that would have been big. He actually was out mining Cure for a little bit. I was surprised by it. I think Clem would have been surprised by it as well if he'd known it. Of course, he didn't know that. Now Clem is just gonna go back home, but there's no real future for him in this game, right? +3 about to finish up for Cure. And yeah, Cure is on 4 bases, Clem only on 3. We do have a drop being set up here. One of these medevacs is extremely low. Holy crap, that's risky. Is he gonna fly over that depot?
He is not. He's actually going to get in without being seen, so he is going to get a position. He can go into the main base, right? And now Cure has to kind of pull back to deal with this, and there's going to be tanks here as well to help cover the initial area, so the Liberators are maybe the biggest threat. 3 siege tanks. Clem is running forward into tank fire now, though, so he's kind of losing some of the Marines here. He's also making a push to kind of take down the orbital at the front. There's the Liberators I was talking about. They're going to clean up very easily. Now the push from Clem at the front might be able to get the base, which is nice, but he's got some serious army supply to make up for.
Yeah. I mean, really, the problem I see is just +3, right? The moment +3 finishes and Clem will never be able to get it, all of these trades are just going to get so much worse for him time after time after time, especially in these low eco situations where you don't actually have that many tanks. Very often you'll see Marines actually fighting each other because you don't have enough tanks to cover all ground there is. So if you do want to fight Marine versus Marine as Cure, you can almost always force that. And I mean, on top of that, I also think Cure actually is way up in tank count right now. Yeah, he's up 5 tanks, he has air control, and he has 2 Liberators, so he can push forward without having to give up any tanks for that. He then has more Marines, better upgrades. He just has more everything and better everything. And it's just not looking good for Clem here, Wardi.
Nope, I mean, Libera is obviously from Cure as well, forcing tanks to siege. That gives the Marines chances to move into positions that Clem doesn't want them in. Looks like we're going to get game 5 between Clem and Cure. There's tanks in the low ground siege up, and Marino 2 going down. Tanks going to siege again, and just going to see the +3 armor of Cure still just ticking along. So he's going to be 3-3 against 2-1. The numbers are good. I'm just waiting for him to find the essentially final push forward here to clean this game out and to tie this up, take us to that game number 5.
To the rubber match, as the Brits say.
Yes. I don't know why they call it that, but
I think there's a reason for it, and I read about it. I can't remember it now.
Me too. I've checked it out once before, asked the exact same question, and obviously wasn't interested enough to remember this. So why read it again?
It's probably going to be a very mediocre explanation, as we see Cure cleaning up the remains of well, basically Clem's base. This is the fall of Rome, except it's Terran and it's Clem, and it's in the 2000s, so it's not really an analogous situation. We have Cure. Yeah, he's just too much. Cure completely went back, by the way. He was afraid of a drop in the main, and now Clem is actually going to outmaneuver him for what feels like the 3rd time this game, but Clem just doesn't have the units to really push his advantage. His map awareness and the way that he moves his units around is so fun to watch, though. It's amazing. Cure just way too solid this game. Doesn't want to be toyed with. He's like, okay, you want to one Rex expand? You're gonna deal with my constant aggression for once. I'm gonna be the one in the driver's seat, and I think Clem after this game will tell himself, okay, this is the last time we're playing one Rex expand against someone like Cure, or someone who knows how to put on aggression.
Yep.
Like this.
Yep, as Clem is reluctant to accept defeat, but obviously this army of Cure is coming across, so he's going to lose that planetary fortress on the 12 o'clock, and that might be what gets Clem out of the game here. Now they're being a scrappy one, right? And obviously I think the big thing for Clem is he doesn't realize the bottom right base is mining, so he might in his mind even think that it's a little bit closer than it is.
Oh, he thinks he's ahead economically. He just scanned both the other bases and was like, oh, nothing there. So that's why he probably stayed in. He was like, maybe I can still do it, but of course, yeah, if he knows that there's a bottom right base and he's being outmined for the past 3-4 minutes, yeah, he probably wouldn't have stayed in as long. GG gets called because Clem probably will rewind this game and see, okay, bottom right base makes sense.
Typically, this becomes one of the longer maps of TvT, kind of the same as Romanticide can be. But I feel like there's even less options here than there is on Romanticide to get aggressive and so on. So it's definitely a case of getting past the early game and then checking out how good your late game is. On the bottom right side, the blue Terran player from Korea is Cure.
And top left, the red Terran player from France. It's Clem. Opening up with the gas first, by the way. It's gonna be one Rex expand again, right?
Potentially. TvT is really crazy. You can kind of do anything nowadays. Like you can double gas off racks or gas first. So
you can gas first and then go into. Actually, I have seen gas first into double gas as well.
Yeah.
But my friend Special told me it's just worse.
Yeah, I mean, we say the pro players say this about builds all the time. People still do them. So.
Yeah, I don't know though. Special doesn't say that a lot, does he? Not about TvT builds. Special is very open-minded when it comes to TvT builds. So I think this is just going to be one Rex expand. Because there's no second gas as well at this point. So it has to be. Yes, he's going to open up with Reaper Marine, then I guess go straight into that factory. Wants to be working. This time Cure is actually scouting, by the way.
Yeah.
Last time he just straight away sent his Reaper across the map, remember that? That was a legendary move and he saw everything.
Did indeed. Yeah, this is going to be obviously nice from Cure, so right away knows what's up, and it'll be interesting to see just how aggressive he is for like a second game in a row now, because he gets the same opportunity, right?
Yeah. Last game he played, what, 2 Reaper, Hellion, and then into the tank drop, and then just kept rallying, right? I think he had a Cyclone, though. Cyclone before tank, probably. I remember
he
being
to tank, then Cyclone.
Ah, right, there was no Hellion at all, was there? Just straight with Tech Lab tank, yeah.
Tech Lab, tank, Cyclone, more tanks, rally.
Yeah, that was a wild push. Actually, a high ground CC here for Clem. Second gas going down and straight into reactor, of course. That's the way you do it with when you're playing gas first. You can get that straight reactor, and then I guess the high ground CC makes sense. You don't really have a lot of money when you're playing gas first. One Rex expand, so affording a bunker is really freaking difficult. I like this. I actually like this a lot. He's gonna reactor out a couple of Hellions. He's gonna get a tech lab on that. You think he's gonna go up to 4 Hellions or just stay on 2? I wouldn't mind 4 even, just to make sure that he's really, really safe in that early game.
I think going up to like 4+ Hellions here is actually kind of common, right? When you reactor them out here after one gas expands. So yeah, I wouldn't mind them. He's actually already got a couple more queued, so it will go up to 4. It just gives you such a quick way to kind of establish control on the ground. You know, after not having much. He's going to go Marauders. Okay, so Clem is actually going to go for Medivac and just get aggressive. This is something which Clem actually really likes to do. This build specifically, I think, is one of his favorites. And he really kind of scaled back on using it a lot, but obviously still has it in his schedule, you know, in his my backpack,
repertoire.
Yeah, repertoire. There we go.
His tool bag.
Yeah.
His fanny pack of builds.
His fanny pack of builds.
Yeah.
That's what we should call it forevermore.
I think so too.
Banshees are really good against this for Cure, though.
It's just going to be single Banshee, and it's going to be rallied across the map. So
if it's out of position.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. If it's out of position, and we have a Cyclone first, not a tank. I mean, what is it? It's 2 Marauders. It is possible, right? It's going to be 6 Hellions. This Banshee is not going to be in position. It's not going to be completely out of position, but it will be on the map already. It's going to be... It will need to fly back. It will take like 5-6 seconds, probably. Here we go. Medevac goes in. Banshee returns immediately. Good control here coming out of Cure. He's going to lose a bunch of SCVs very, very rapidly. No tank on the high ground is going to make it hard to kind of end this pressure as well. He's going to lose a lot of SCVs here.
Yep, I mean, that's all you need, right? Take control of the natural for a little while. Fresh Mule's going down, and 11 workers killed, and Clem gets off to a fantastic start. Now you can just leave, right? Lift up these Marauders. Yep, you will, because it's Clem. And Then he actually even hasn't lost that much. I mean, loses 1 Marauder as he drops it down there. But he's only lost a Marauder and 2 Hellions for all of this damage. And of course, now he knows what Cure has as well. So he can obviously adapt and build whatever he feels he needs to defend. For the 10-worker lead, he takes a great position here on Death Aura.
Yeah, single Raven gonna be going into Viking production straight away. 3rd CC goes down as well for Clem. 3rd CC already went down for Cure, by the way, who's working with a 10-worker deficit at this point. Now I'm wondering what the play here is for Clem. What is his plan? Is he gonna say, okay, I'm ahead, I'm just gonna sit back, I'm gonna relax until I get 3 Rexes out, I'm gonna get my stim? Or is he just gonna try to move across the map and do something? I think it's going to be the first thing. He wants to keep his opponent on his side of the map by having these Hellions in this medevac, try to poke him from different angles, maybe kill a worker here or there, but not go too crazy. 2 workers actually do end up falling here against this Banshee. He's gonna be 3 workers for a Banshee. This is one of those numbers where both players would say something like, that's okay, you know? It's not 7 workers and it's not 1. So Cure will look at it and be like, moi, I didn't expect much more after being scouted. Clem will look at it, moi, he won't be able to do any damage to me anymore, so I'm okay with it being dead right now. And this also allows Clem to move on the map right now. Because before, if he would move on the map, he'd kind of expose himself to that type of risk, right? Where the Banshee flies in, he loses 14 SCVs, and there goes his lead, basically. Another bunch of SCVs going down here. Do you like that he used the Hellions in this way, or would you have preferred seeing them with this push?
No, I think I like it. I think Hellions, what do they really do in the push? Like, they're going to soak like the real minor amount, maybe like 1 or 2 tank shots?
I more mean during the push, sorry. Not with the
at
push,
the
but
same
like
time?
as you're pushing, you drop them in the main or something like that. Yeah. Especially because he has a Viking lead, right? I thought that could be quite a powerful possibility.
That's actually maybe a cool idea, right? You push to the front and you drop in the main. I think he just wants to get damage done as soon as possible, and also maybe kind of check what Cure's army is too, so it's like a, you know, the few extra bonuses. Now he's going to get into a weird position because Cure's just not at home at all. 1 tank just spawned. Yeah, Marines should do something, anything. Okay, we're going to go into full-on base trade mode here. I mean, base trade's kind of a little bit scary. I feel like Cure's got a pretty tough army, and Clem's initial drop doesn't do much. I mean, now he's going to move into the natural, and he's going to get a couple tanks here. SCV's already moving back away, and Clem going to pull up into the main base as well as he gives up his own natural. Obviously, his 3rd base is still mining for a little while, though, so that's one of the benefits he will have for having the head start on this trade. And obviously, if he denies Stim, Q will then never get Stim in this game, and so that's going to be a massive advantage for Clem as well. As you do see a couple of Vikings just walk into tank fire, so Q's losing a lot. He does get up into the main base, though. 1 more Matrix. That's going to be the last Matrix, the last usage of the Ravens for now. But he's not going to be able to capitalize. That tank is still alive. He's going to move his tanks forward now to get in range of it. SCV's pulling in. Clem, he's going to lose his tank very soon. Lands the Viking. He actually is going to get on top of the tanks here to be able to clean up without... Oh, sorry, I didn't really see the tank on the low ground. Okay. Well, Clem still has more army supply, but Cure is mining and building.
Yeah, the problem for Cure is I think that he's never going to be able to get any air unit out anymore, and his production isn't that great, so even though he's mining a lot more, he won't be able to really spend that into anything useful. If these... Oh, he should have cleared that building first. I don't understand why he let that finish up. I like the repositioning of the tanks, though. Don't get me wrong. Oh, here comes a tank on the high ground, actually.
Oh, nice
interference matrix. Yeah, that was beautiful.
Yeah, that's exactly what he wanted. Now, yep, auto turret down. Viking's going to fall. Tank's going to get broken. Clem's going to make it work. I think Clem had the advantage all the way through there, but Cure made a really good effort of, like, bringing it to be as close as possible.
That looks scary.